Welcome to Disturbing the Peace. I'm your host, John Amanchukwu, coming to you live from YREFI Studios. When the facts don't support the victim narrative, apparently you just make one up. Today, Marian Richardson joins me to cut through the foolishness. We're talking Angel Reese and the manufactured struggle surrounding her new Barbie. DiJonai Carrington crying white privilege after getting ejected. And Royce White using satire to expose the absurdity of the transgender debate and whether modern feminism has been honest with women about motherhood, fertility, and the biological clock. All here today on Disturbing the Peace.
From heaven, there's too much at stake to be quiet. Let's disturb the peace. Me and you, let's disturb the peace. With John Amanchukwu, disturb the peace.
Joining me today is Marian Richardson, conservative cultural commentator and one of the sharpest online voices right now. Marian, welcome back to Disturbing the Peace.
Oh my goodness. Hello, John. Thank you for having me. As always, like I said before, your introductions of me really just boost my day. So thank you so much.
Hey,
I'm very excited to be on today.
It's all true. It's all true. You do a phenomenal job with the takes on these topics, and you always do it from a biblical worldview. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Let's get into this. So Angel Reese has created a new Barbie doll, okay? And there's nothing wrong with her creating her own Barbie doll. I think it's a good idea. You know, if you have a large platform and people want to follow you and you can make a doll, do it. Hey, I hope they make a book banning Pastor REVWUTRUTH doll.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or He-Man or Hercules one day, something like that. I'm not hating on that.
I love that.
That's a good idea. Maybe I need to look into getting one of those made.
Make it.
Right? But Angel Reese, in a promotional clip for her new Barbie doll, said she is releasing the doll because growing up in the 2000s, she didn't have very many dolls that looked like her. And Marian, in classic fashion, you responded to this. And so I want to show this clip right quick and come back to you. Take a look at this.
So Angel Reese released a Barbie doll, and she said that she's super excited to be releasing this doll because when she was growing up, she didn't have very many dolls because she couldn't really find one that looked like her. Angel Reese was born in May of 2002. In March or so of 2000, the movie Life Size came out, featuring Tyra Banks as a life-size Barbie doll. It was Lindsay Lohan with a black Barbie doll that she loved so very much, and she turned it into a real girl. Now, what also cracks me up about this is, aside from the Tyra Banks movie, Barbie has released the Christy doll. Christy was Barbie's black best friend. She came out in 1968 and has been re-released over and over the past half century. Now, what cracks me up about all of this more than anything is that Angel Reese is 6'4", okay? She is a tall, slim, pretty woman. If any girl could find a Barbie that looks like her, it's Angel Reese. Because Angel Reese is one of the few women walking around that literally looks like a real life Barbie. Why? Why must people continue to push this narrative of this struggle that didn't exist? Girl, all the Barbies look like you. Are you kidding me? You're saying, oh, she had to have nails and hair and also be able to play basketball? What? If you don't get you a regular Barbie doll and buy the basketball outfit set like the rest of us did, why are we creating these narratives of struggle that simply did not exist? Like, That just cracked me up. I had to share that with you guys.
All right, so a platform with millions of followers just got fed a false history lesson by Angel Reese. What does that say about our culture? That nobody in that room, Marian, stopped to even check.
What frustrates me about the Democrat Party, I don't know if you've seen that like meme where it's like a person giving CPR to racism.
Yeah.
Saying, don't die on me now. I need you. And it's the Democrat Party, because obviously Angel Reese is a huge proponent for the Democrat Party. We know this. And they have to infuse a racial component into everything. Everything. So even when someone is just categorically false, just completely incorrect, like Angel was, they don't even care to look into the truth on this, because it is more important that we see this poor little Black girl who grew up without, going to Target and not being able to find a Black doll that looks like her. Mind you, I wish I added this to the video. In 1998, Mattel released a Barbie that played in the NBA.
Stop it.
I'm not even joking. And she came in Black and white. You could get the NBA Barbie. I don't know if she was a player, but she definitely had the full jersey. There was multiple teams. Like, girl, what are you talking about? Where does this struggle come from? From 2002, Angel Reese? Meaning you were playing with dolls in the early 2010s? Girl, and you thought no one was going to figure this out, and her PR people didn't think, maybe we're pushing it a little bit. Maybe we should scale back on the idea that she couldn't find a doll. Maybe we just say, I'm excited for this opportunity. But no, they have to infuse racism, or at least some type of racial component, because that's all Democrats have at this point. And Angel Reese will continue to do whatever they ask her to do to keep her name on high and to give her something to be talked about in the media.
But when you look at this, Black America comprises nearly 13% of the overall population. Women account for about 8% of that. And I don't know any women who are 70, 60, and 50 who are still buying Barbie dolls and things of that nature, maybe for their granddaughter or for a relative. But when you consider it from a business standpoint of view, why take the racism narrative when you're going to potentially marginalize your potential to be able to sell your Barbie doll in a vast way? Why even soil it with racism? Just make the doll.
What's even funnier, let's talk about it. Let's be honest. Conservatives probably buy more Barbies because they have more kids.
All right. All right. See,
they're not into
that's good.
abortion,
That's
right?
good.
Like, I always talk about this. I'm like, you're pushing this narrative, but baby, like we're having kids. We have nuclear families. Like, we're the ones buying dolls far more, I would assume, than, the majority of Democrats. Now, mind you, maybe Black Democrats would make up more of the Black Barbie sales, but my best friend living in my house, in my apartment building, her name was Emily. She lived across the hall. She had the Black American doll named Addie way before I did, because I couldn't, like, those dolls are $100. My parents are like, absolutely not.
Right.
She had that doll before we had that doll. She had plenty of Black dolls. So multiple parents buy their children different dolls of different ethnicities, because we're in a culture of different ethnicities. And if we're going to continue to celebrate that, which I absolutely want us to do, we can't continue to make it the biggest problem that we have as well. It's either or. This fly hates me. That's Satan.
But no, I'll say this to you, Marian. When you tell these lies and you stoke the flames of racism and you pull the scab off, people then take these narratives and make them repeatable. And so it continues to compound and snowballs to the point where you have young, impressionable young ladies who will believe this false narrative. And so I appreciate you for taking it upon yourself as a lady. I'm not into buying dolls. I have a daughter. I bought dolls for her. Other than that, I can care less about a doll. When I was a young boy, I was trying to rip the head off of dolls, you know what I mean, and body slam the dolls and throw the dolls up in the air and see what happens when they come down. That's pretty much all I want to do with a doll. But it's good that you took this approach to address this problem as a Black young lady. Now, let me ask you this. When you were growing up, did you have access, to dolls that looked like you?
John, I only had Black dolls.
Oh.
And I am a full, 13 years or so older than Angel Reese. I only had Black dolls because, as I tell you almost every show, I am the product of a Black Democrat, probably liberal family. So they were super into like, my baby's going to have her Black dolls. So all I had was Black dolls in every possible fashion. And that's what's killing me about this. I had Black dolls that were nurses. I had Black dolls that were, veterinarians. Like I had Black dolls that were moms. I had Black dolls that were fashionistas, whatever, back in the 90s. Right. So it really threw me when I saw this video. It truly did, because I'm like, where did you grow up, right, Angel? Like, were you in Alaska? Did you not have dolls because it was $80 to transport them to Alaska? Like, how did you not have these dolls? Even if you got dolls secondhand, if you went to a thrift store for your dolls, you could find Black dolls in America by the 2000s. So for her to say this and for her PR team to approve this message, it is such overt racial signaling, and I can't stand it. I truly do, because I'm not a person that pretends that racism doesn't exist. I'm never that person. Right. I refuse to allow people to infuse racism into something where it isn't, because it belittles the instances where racism is actually happening. This is not an instance where this is the first time Mattel has ever done this, where it's groundbreaking. It's not. Mattel has done it time and time. And as you said, even if there's 70-year-old women buying dolls, they had the first Black Barbie because we got Christie back in 1968. And she was released almost every year with a new style. So she had the hair, she had the nails. Angel Reese is just making stuff up just to fuel this fire of there's such a big racial problem in America, and I'm sick of it.
We're talking about Angel Reese and her new Barbie doll. We'll pick this up after this break. Folks, let's face it. If you have distressed or defaulted private student loans, nobody is coming to bail you out. And bankruptcy is not an option, but you can take charge of your situation by contacting YRefi. Can you imagine being debt-free and not living under this burden anymore? The first step is contacting YRefi. If you go to YRefi.com, you can read testimonials from other people who have been where you are and how they've escaped. You can even see what their monthly payments were versus what they are now. YRefi offers a 3-minute rate check without any credit impact. Bad credit is accepted. Just call 888-YRefi-85 or log on to YRefi.com. That's YREFY.com. Marian, let me ask you this. All right. You had nothing but Black baby dolls growing up, not just the ones in the swimsuits. You had nurses, you had moms. And so your parents did a good job there, right? Showing you the full facet of what a young lady can be or Black woman can be through the dolls. And so you had some affirmation there that prompted you and promoted you to excel. But are you going to purchase the Angel Reese doll? I mean, like, real talk. I want to know, are you going to get this doll? Put it back up again one more time. I want to know if Marian Richardson is going to purchase this doll. Look right there, man. It's got one long sleeve on her leg, on the left leg, and nothing on the right. It's got the long hair. Hey, it's not blonde. Her hair looks like yours. It's not blonde. It's not blonde, because we're getting ready to, in a little bit, talk about this whole crisis of people who are always talking about white privilege, but they have blonde hair, which blows me. So are you going to get this doll?
Let me tell you the truth, John. One, my daughter is too old for dolls, unfortunately. She's about to be 11. She's in the living room using an iPad right now. So if I got her a doll, it'd be a waste of time. But I will say this. My daughter, and this is such a big thing, and I think we're going to talk about this whole trans people trying to get into the WNBA later, so maybe we'll wait for that conversation. But my daughter loves basketball, right? Little black girl, absolutely loves basketball, is good at it. She's almost like my height. She's only 10. So I would, if she wanted a doll, I would not, be angry about her getting this doll. Now, that said, I don't like Angel Reese as a role model. That's just me genuinely saying I do not like her as a role model. She is constantly naked on her Instagram page. She overtly sexualizes herself for likes, for clicks, for campaigns, etc. She is perpetually placing race above everything else and anything that she does. She makes her, honestly, in my opinion, her entire WNBA career, and prior to that, when she was still in college, it was primarily about race. For some reason, it had to be a race war between her and Caitlin Clark, right? I personally would rather not get this particular doll because I don't like Angel Reese as a role model for young girls. As a WNBA player, fine, right? I'm sure plenty of little girls that aspire to be in the WNBA or just like basketball will run out and get the doll simply because of that. Okay. Angel Reese, I'd rather not.
All right. Well, that settles it. You're not going to purchase the Angel Reese doll.
I will not be a supporter, unfortunately.
All right. Now moving to the WNBA. Okay. During a Fever game, WNBA player DiJonai, I hope I'm saying that the right way, Carrington, was ejected after a hard foul on Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, who has been in the news repeatedly here lately. And I want to show you this video clip of it. Take a look.
Face coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant.
All right, hold it right here.
I think.
And then you see on the tweet there, it says white privilege at Indiana Fever because she was ultimately ejected. Watch.
That is going to be a flagrant, too. There is wind up, there is follow through, there's potential for injury.
Without
Sophie
question.
Cunningham in a vulnerable position in the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question why Sophie.
All right, so this is basketball, okay? You have specimens. These people are tall. They're large creatures, okay? They're physically fit. These ladies probably have some of the highest marks of testosterone amongst women out there. I mean, they have an ability to do things that most people can't do. There's nothing wrong with that. And in basketball, you're going to take a hard foul. You're going to get hit. It's like football or any other sport. You know what I mean? You're going to get hit. So when contact takes place and it happens, there's no need for anyone to go home and cry about it, whatever. Now, you may get upset in the moment. I don't blame Sophie Cunningham for getting up off the floor ready to fight. I mean, I would have felt the same way. But at the end of the day, she's an athlete. She knows that you're going to get hit. And you can hit back. Sophie can swing back on her after she fouls her in that manner. She might be ejected, but she can get her lick back at least, right? But the problem comes in when you bring in white privilege in the conversation. And what does white privilege have to do with this in the first place, Marian?
The only bit of white privilege that I see is the fact that Sophie was able to walk away. I'm not even joking. Because had it been me.
Had it been you. And how tall are you? How tall are you?
I'm 5'6", and I still would have went. Like, listen.
Okay.
I wish you would wrap your entire arm around my face.
Like she was in her face. Like, I mean, it was.
John, those are like, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. If that happened on, the playground basketball court, you're catching hands. And I'm not a basketball person at all. And I immediately was like, that's clearly a flagrant foul. Like, that's the type of foul that caused them to add flagrant foul to the rule books.
That one.
And if you can't avoid hooking your arm around someone's face, that is a you problem. People in the game should not have to deal with that. That's why we have rules. And for her to go to the locker room, first of all, you're lucky you went to the locker room with your face intact. Let's start there. Let's start there, bro. Like, I wanted to fight this girl. And I'm a Christian. I am a turn the other cheek Christian. But I just immediately thought, if this was my daughter, again, my daughter loves basketball. We're not pushing her into it, but in the event that she's hard-headed and says, I really want to go into this, I cannot imagine me sitting in that stand as a mom and not jumping out my seat and running down there, because that was so aggressive, so unnecessarily targeting, of course, this, and of course, of all people, for it to be Sophie, considering how much Sophie has been in the news, considering the things that she is speaking out against. And to call it white privilege because you got ejected for what is clearly a flagrant foul? Come on now. You think you would have, if it was the other way around, it wouldn't have happened? Show me a time. Show me when there's been flagrant fouls against Black players and no one cares. The rules are the rules for everyone. That's it.
Yeah.
And she's just a sore loser.
Pretty much. Well said. Take a look at this image right here of DiJonai Carrington. So this is DiJonai right here. And she has blonde hair here. Okay. Now I don't have a problem with a Black woman who desires to put blonde highlights in their hair, to give some texture or whatever to it, some color, whatever you want to call it. I may not be calling it the right thing. I'm a guy. It's okay. I'm bald. I'm good. But blonde hair on a Black lady. Okay, if that's what she wants. Red hair. Okay, if you want to do the whole sexy red thing, if that's your ilk, okay, do it. I'm not a fan of it. Purple, green, turquoise, magenta, canary yellow. I don't know. You know what I mean? Fuchsia pink. Whatever you want to do. If your husband likes that, then do it. That might be the thing that floats his boat. But you should not be able to talk about white privilege while wearing blonde hair. Do you think you should lose your right to be able to talk about white privilege when that's the case?
That's a fascinating point to make, because I'm the same way. I think Black women should wear their hair however they would like to.
Yeah.
I think any woman should wear her hair however she would like to.
Sure.
The question comes down to it is, why are you interested in wearing your hair in a style that is traditionally a white woman's style? That is where we have to ask that question. Where is it coming from? Right? We know that if we look way back, when we first started getting hair relaxers and things of that nature, it was because we were, trying to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with the curl sets and all of that of the 50s and 40s, et cetera.
Yes.
So I am not against, again, people do what they want. You see the white girls are wearing braids and they're wearing locks here and there. So I think if they, I'm going to let them do it. And I think Black women should be allowed to wear their 30-inch blonde bust downs if they want to. But don't pretend that it's not a style derived from whiteness. Just accept and acknowledge that. And if you're going to accept and acknowledge that, then we can't keep talking about how there's one privilege over another. Everyone is different. That's it. I personally don't believe in white privilege at all. I believe in class privilege. I think that's very clear and prevalent. That's prevalent in every single culture, even in multiple cultures where there's one ethnicity. Look at India. Look at China. Everyone looks very similar, but they have completely differing ranks among their classes. So in the United States, where we are and have been for years a melting pot,
right,
and have been intermingling, etc., there's no white privilege that a black person can't say that they also have had access to if they're at the same level of class. That's my firm state on white privilege. I just wish we would put away the term and accept the fact that a white person walking around the streets of Alabama that, you know, maybe is working a blue collar job does not have more privilege than Beyonce or Obama, right? Like, let's just talk about it. It's class, not race. So with her, white privilege to say that, oh, you know, if it were a black person, they wouldn't have ejected me. That's ridiculous. You're looking for a reason to infuse racism into this thing. And on top of it, let's be honest, sis, if anyone's watching WNBA games, it's probably white women. Black women are not watching WNBA games.
You know, that's true.
So
that's true. That is true.
Why are y'all alienating the very little bit of viewership that you have? Black women could care less about the WNBA. If we're going down the likelihood of who's actually supporting the WNBA, it's probably white men, white women, maybe some black men. I'm assuming a lot of lesbians, and then black women would be, it's just my assumption, I don't know.
Yeah.
But black women would probably be at the very, very bottom of who's supporting the WNBA. So why are we infusing racism into something where you need your white, you know, viewer base to keep you afloat?
But and that is the problem. You know, you see it with Angel Reese, and she's narrowing the funnel for her to sell her doll. And the same thing now with DiJonai Carrington. You know, you want the white viewers to support you. So maybe keep the blonde hair coming, you know, but at the end of the day, leave the whole white privilege stuff out of it. You know what I mean? Just stay away from it.
Also, if I can be totally honest, if there is white privilege, they're the ones watching your games, because white blue collar workers are not spending their little $50 to come to your game. So it's probably people that have a decent job and have expendable time on their hands. So you're even more so directly attacking the people that are likely to be supporting you. Someone that has at least the privilege to have a free weekend where they can come and support the local WNBA team. Be so for real.
Yeah, it's all strange. You know, do you think we're teaching young black people to examine what happened to them, or immediately examine the race of the person on the other side?
1,000% examine the race. Look at the Nolan Wells situation, which, by the way, no one seems to care about anymore. We gave that, 2.5 weeks at best. Mm-hmm. And now that it's not front page news, no one's talking about it, because we are only interested if we think that a white person has done something wrong to a black person. That's it. And the moment that it doesn't look like that might be the case, we're moving on to the next thing, right? We are, as a community, conditioned, and this started back in I truly believe it started back in the 60s with the civil rights movement, mm-hmm. because what you saw was, and I'm not that old obviously, but reading the history books, what you saw was this narrative that it was so bad. It was so bad. Mm-hmm. There was so much overt racism. There were bodies hanging from every tree. And I will never discredit what our ancestors went through, what my own family members went through. I will never discredit that. But I also know that in an area where it was supposedly so heinous, Black people owned homes, Black people owned businesses, Black people had churches, Black people had families, right? So we still, in the midst of that, somehow were able to survive. Why? Because it wasn't bodies hanging on every single tree. What we've been told is look at the smaller instances of something that absolutely did happen and was real. But let's look at it and pretend that that was the totality or the larger reality of everyday life for someone in that sign, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Today, what we're seeing, it's like, oh, let me highlight Nolan Wells, right? Mm. When he's a young Black kid that died very tragically. On the same day, probably a dozen or so other Black kids died in America at the hands of Black people. But we don't care about that. We're told to look at this outlier and completely ignore the real problems that face us. with the WNBA right now, we're being told, hey, look at racism. That's the issue. That's the problem. Why? Because it's a buzzword. It's a buzzword for the Democrats and for the liberal community. But it has nothing to do with whether or not the WNBA is actually going to be profitable this year, whether or not they have good players, whether or not they're doing good, getting good viewership, whether or not people are actually interested in it. Let me just create some type of buzz so I can get people to at least learn about what the WNBA is, right? So yeah. Absolutely, we're being told to focus on race, and we always have been, because if we pull race out, we're left with self-accountability. We can't.
Speaking of a buzz, let's create a buzz, okay? You have the DiJonai Carringtons who wear blonde hair, and she castigates white people. Take a look at this image right here of Sophie Cunningham. What's up? What's up? What you want to do? Marian, come on. I mean, Marian, what you want to do? Are you ready to do this? This is what the WNBA needs. This is what we've been longing for. We need Sophie Cunningham, aka Soul Sister. This is it. This is the way. This is the way. I mean,
listen, she could go get her a nice little Bob Ross perm. I don't know if our audience is old enough to remember Bob Ross with his pictures, but we loved him, and we can love her for it, because why not? Why not?
Yeah.
If she's going past women that literally are doing their hair like her, why not?
Yes.
How can you say it? How can you be mad?
I think the next game, she needs to show up like this. If she shows up like this at the next game, I'm buying her jersey. I'm going to wear it on Disturbing the Peace on the set.
I would love that.
I'm getting it.
You know what?
Yes.
You know what, actually, I'm glad you're bringing this up, because I've been fascinated with the ongoing progress of a well-known woman named Rachel Dolezal. Okay. Now, if you remember Rachel exploded on the scene because people found out that she was running, or, one of the head leaders of an NAACP chapter, and she was actually white.
Yeah.
She was cosplaying, or if you will say, passing as a Black woman. Mm-hmm. Now, it fascinated me that this exploded so much on the scene, because I remember that it was very common. Now, when I say I remember, I'm talking about, my ancestors, my elders have told me.
Yes.
But it was very common for light-skinned Black people to pass as white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We never talked about that when it came to Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal was basically paraded through the streets with a scarlet A, because she did something that probably thousands of Black people have done in the past, which is let's talk about it, right?
Come on.
But just because she did it and the Black community is so offended,
Come
can't
on.
believe you would ever. But we know multiple members of our own families have gone out there and just let everyone think that they were white with no problems, no correction, no issues. There was a whole movie about it. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a whole movie, something about like my daughter. And this woman was passing as a white woman, and that movie was from like the 60s.
Wow.
So people attacked Rachel Dolezal because, you know what it is? The Black community has this weird thing, and I'm so glad we're talking about this. It has this weird thing. There it is. That my girl, my sister.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, is it so on the left? Who is that on the left, and who is that on the right?
That is just before and after the same person. That's on the left. It might be Tamika that's passing as Tammy when she goes to work.
She went to the cookout.
No.
She went to the cookout. She had a Southern meal.
That's it. And why are you so mad about it? Because here's what really gets me. The Black community is on this weird one foot in, one foot out thing with the totality of the American society, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to be included and respected as full members of this country. And I firmly believe that we are. And if you're going to be a full member with full access and equal rights, equal respect, then your culture is going to become the general American culture. And it has. And no one has seemed to accept that yet. This thing that Black culture, this, a lot of Black culture is actually just Southern American culture. That's why when you go to the South and you go sit in anybody's Pentecostal church, you're going to see a white woman talking like this and telling you, baby, da da da, because that's what she sounds like, right? And we're not surprised by it because the South is the South, the North is the North, the West is the West, etc. So this idea, and they all grew up on the same music as us. There's no, we have the same radios. We're listening to the same radio stations. Go look at the top 40 list for the past 40 years. You're going to see Black and white artists. They all grew up listening to Michael Jackson. They all grew up listening to Whitney Houston, right? There's nothing, think deeply about this. There is nothing that you can say a white person in this American society is so alienated from that a Black person had an experience with. Even the hood. There's been white ghettos forever.
Yes, yes. Thomas Sowell taught us that. I mean, come on. Yes, indeed. Take a look at this video clip now of the Fever coach. I mean, this is horrible. Oh. This is horrible. Take a look.
One of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the net.
All right, hold it right there. All right. Freeze the frame on the last part of that. See, body language, emotional intelligence. Look at the player to the left. Look at the player to the right, Caitlin Clark. What does their body language say, Marian?
I mean, they are hurt. You can see it. They're upset, frustrated, and I do believe they're genuinely hurt that their own coach won't stand up for their own teammate. And the question going through my mind, if I were one of them, is like, if this were me, this is how you would support me, which is just a deep and complete lack of support. Also, Caitlin is doing everything in her power to not lose out on her contract because she said, I will not let my mouth get me suspended, but I want to stand up and curse this lady out. That's my assumption. I'm not in her brain, but that's what I'm getting from the double hand. Like, she's like, I am not going to get fined for saying what I really want to say to you right now.
Indeed.
And I hope they let her have it in that locker room later. I really do.
I hope so, because, you would expect the coach to defend the player. Sophie Cunningham had blood coming from her mouth after the foul. On. But, I mean, don't treat her like a little girl. You know what I mean? But, oh, my gosh, your mouth is bleeding. You're not going to big, oh, Lord. You know what I mean? All of that is not necessary. It's basketball. It's a sport. You're going to get hit. You're going to get injured. But yet and still, it was flagrant. It was intentional. Say something about that. Defend your player. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the WNBA. There is a way to help get more eyeballs, and I think that's from, promoting the more feminine players. Running up and down the court, you know what I mean? Versus the dude chicks running up and down the court with all of that masculine energy. I've said this before, and I'm going to keep repeating it. Femininity controls a man.
Yep.
It will bring a man to his knees. Femininity is the thing that makes a man want to go to Jared, want to go to the ring shop. To purchase a diamond, a carat, or 2 or 3 or 4. Heck, it'll make him go to the bubblegum ball machine. You know what I mean? He's going to do something. He'll give you a promise ring. I promise. You know what I mean? And ladies, don't take a promise ring.
Listen,
but don't.
What movie really shows that?
Say it again.
You know what movie really shows that? Funny enough that we're talking about this.
What?
Love and Basketball. Is that the name of it? Love and Basketball?
Yeah.
Where Sanaa Lathan is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
But in that movie, she was a little tomboy. And she had a crush on your boy Omar Epps, and he saw her as a friend.
Yes.
And he went out and dated somebody else who was far more feminine.
That's right.
And she literally had to play him at his own sport to try and get him to see her as more than just a homegirl, because she wasn't presenting as a feminine person in his life. So we should use that as a little bit of a case study. Ladies, they like, don't overdo it with the makeup, please. They don't like that.
Right.
They don't like that.
That's right. That's right. And get and provide provide mystery. Don't show it all.
Yes.
Give him a reason to work.
Yes.
Be feminine. Be dainty. Be a lady.
Be a woman.
Be prissy. be all of that. You know what I mean? And that, man, there's an allure to it. You know what I mean? But so many women today are tapping into the more feminist vibe that naturally brings about a masculine overtone. And it's not beneficial for ladies. I want to talk about now Royce White. Royce is a bad man. I mean, former NBA player Royce White appeared on Fox News amid coverage of the WNBA's handling of the confused people athlete debate. Okay, I'll say it that way. In a segment clearly delivered as satire, White said this. Take a look at this video clip.
Right now, I'm just having a blast in my feminine era. I never thought that I was a woman. I've always trusted the science, and I thought I was a man my entire life. But after further review, strong look at my personal preferences, it would appear that I am indeed sometimes identifying as a transgender woman, and I think it's only fair I get a chance to play with some of my queens here in the twilight of my career, my athletic prime.
Well, and so exactly what you're saying, Royce, is just sort of pulls the curtain back on the lack of clarity in the WNBA's policies under Article 8 of their 2026 collective bargaining agreement. It's simply...
All right, so Marian, why does satire land this hard right now? And if the bit only works because everybody instantly recognizes the absurdity, why do our institutions keep treating the underlying position as unquestionable?
Okay, so one, I really appreciate him doing that with a straight face.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he got through that.
Right,
when he said,
right.
upon further review, like we were in the game.
Right.
Like, I absolutely lost it. What is fantastic about this? In this moment, we're seeing, and I pray that this continues, we're seeing a pushback, right? Because we that are logical and just sane-minded people, we've been saying for, at this point, 10 years, they're going too far. You're going too far. You're going past the realm of what is real into this la-la land that is not only fake, but dangerous.
Yeah.
And I love that he's now like, you know what? No, someone has to stand up to this. Someone has to get in there. And even though it feels, we're all laughing and giggling at it, it's also so real because no, you are allowing people. He might not be, already in the NBA and already well known. This is someone that sees that they are failing at basketball as a male and is now in college, is going to go and, put on a wig. Like, what's his face? William, the swimmer, who turned into Leah and started just crushing girls swimming.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real thing. This is a real problem that is actually being, forced onto the girl athletes of tomorrow. And again, as a mom of a young girl who does like sports, who is super feminine, I have to remind her she has to take off her church shoes and before she runs around playing in her dress because she loves her dresses and her, her hair and her stuff, but she also really enjoys sports. And that's okay. That's beautiful. But to have this space where we're telling young girls, women, go into that locker room with a man in a dress and you're the bad person if you don't accept that. I am so grateful because unfortunately, oh my God, I'm not going to freak out. The craziest part about all of this, the craziest part, John, the feminists hate men, but it will be the men that save women from the feminists.
Oh, hold up, Marian. Say that one more time. People need to hear that. Those in the back as well.
Look at what is happening. Truly, it's an entirety of the realities of what women should be honest about in this world. Feminists hate men, but it will be men who save women from feminists, from the feminist ideology, from this push to allow men into women's spaces. And I keep saying over and over, if women and men could play basketball at the same level, we would not have started the WNBA. It would not even have needed to exist. They would just go into the regular draft right along with every other player. And they would get drafted to the D League in Spain, the 1000th overall pick, because no one would choose a female to be on a man's team. But for some reason, these, and I genuinely, I'm not joking. Obviously, you know, as you said, I look at things from the Christian perspective and I see the spiritual warfare that's happening here. Yes. Because God is not the author of confusion. And this is nothing but a huge ball of confusion. And it is so much confusion that you have people that truly, I think truly in their hearts are well-meaning. I really do think that a lot of these women who are coming to bat for these male players that are, you know, wearing their skirts, they are well-meaning. They think, oh, I have to stand up for this person because they just, you know, they're a pariah of society, etc. Okay, it's good to stand up for someone and care about them. Stand up for them by getting them help. Stand up for them by telling them that something's wrong. If your brain is telling you, and I said this on a podcast, I said this on a debate, transgenderism is nothing but a mental disorder. To call it anything but that is to belittle the situation and to feed that person into a life of medical dependency. Okay? These individuals, their physical body is completely fine. So we know it's something happening in their minds. And in any other instance where someone is dealing with something that is happening in their mind only, albeit anorexia, bulimia, schizophrenia, you do not affirm that. And I say this all the time, John. If a young lady walked into a doctor's office and said, hey, when I look in the mirror, I see something that something tells me that everything is wrong with what I see. And I have to go to drastic measures to change the person that's looking back at me. That doctor of today would affirm you. But we know that you just affirmed an anorexic. You just affirmed a bulimic because they have the same mentality. They look in the mirror and something is whispering in their head, change everything. A transgender looks in the mirror and hears, change every single thing about you. And now, because it is a cash cow for the medical industry, because you make a lot more money if a child goes on puberty blockers and then gets gender reassignment surgery and then has to continue on medication for the rest of their lives and upkeep surgeries as they grow, you're making way more money than telling that person you need therapy and prayer and take a while and figure this out. So sorry if I went on a tangent, but I feel so strongly. I feel so strongly about this transgenderism. It genuinely brings tears to my eyes because no one ever talks about the thousands of young women that turn around and deeply regret transitioning. Deeply regret it. Yes. There's a woman that I like to follow. She was saved by Jesus, praise the Lord. But after she got double mastectomy and started, transitioning, she is now married with a baby. And she had a video of her sobbing because she could not breastfeed her child. But when they did the surgery, they left a few milk ducts. They didn't take all of the breast tissue. So she's got milk in her body that she can't get out because they removed her nipples. And to imagine how painful that must be. I'm not going to cry, but it's so sick to me. And it's such a clear attack of Satan. And it frustrates me that people who I really do think mean well are so disillusioned and so off track to think that affirming this is what is needed. So to wrap up, I am so grateful that there are going to be men, and it has to be men,
Yes.
that are going to stand up to this absurdity and point it out, and hopefully, God willing, bring it to an end.
Marian, you're so right. You know, Genesis 1:26 says, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And so the only they, them is the male and female construct. Then when you get to verse 28, it says, and God blessed them. Who is the them? The male and the female. Any other sex or gender, you know, there's 72 different genders and counting today. Any other sex that comes beyond that psychologically isn't blessed by God. Okay, it's not ordained by God. It's not stamped approved by God. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. And we already know there's only one particular lifestyle that allows you to be fruitful. You know, you take 10 women and put 10 women in a room. I mean, they can, they can go all night long. But at the end of the day, ain't no seed in there.
Ain't no babies coming out.
Yeah, too many eggs. They're gonna. A lady knows a lady's body better than a man. Okay, but yet and still, ain't no seed in that room. You're not gonna be fruitful and multiply.
Can I just add to that, and not to be a little bit risque, but if y'all are so good and all you need is women, why are you buying man body parts to strap onto you? See,
Marian, and that is.
Come on.
I'm telling you.
If all you needed was what she has, then why do you need to buy what he has?
The Bible says that God is not the author of confusion. So where does confusion come from? It comes from Satan. Confusion in the Greek is the word akatastasia. It means tumult, unrest, anarchy, just trauma. I mean, let's bring it to modern day vernacular. And so that's what you're dealing with. So you don't want a man. You want a woman, but the woman doesn't have what the man has. And so you go get plastic.
Also, if I can interject here, a lot of them do want a man, because that's why you're dating a dyke, right?
See, all right, man. I need to bring you in. Like we need to get this done so we can talk about that aspect. We gotta. Yeah. I think there's a topic brewing that we need to get into. All right. So we're gonna make that happen. But speaking about, you know, being fruitful and multiplying, the man coming together with the woman, which is biblical, you know, look at AOC, you know, AOC, you know, posted a self-filmed video announcing she is starting the process of freezing her eggs, including footage of herself administering an injection. All right, take a look at this.
Don't be weird about this, even though I know all of you will be. Okay.
It's a weird thing to do, girl.
She's doing the most.
Like,
just stick yourself. I mean, just do it.
That wasn't so bad.
Just do it.
I mean, it's just, that's drama. You know it's drama.
Girl, right. So here's my question. One, Why? Okay. How do I say this?
Say it.
I'm not a fan of Candace Owens, right? At this point, you and I both know, like, at this point, she's disappointing me. True. However, Candace Owens has never not been pregnant in the entirety of the last, 6 years of her career. This woman is perpetually pregnant. Yeah. And I appreciate that about her. I really appreciate that about her, because what she is doing is reminding people that you can indeed be a mother, continue to have babies, and still be a successful woman. Still be someone that changes the tide of our society around you, right? And so many women hold down regular everyday jobs. My mom did it. I'm sure your mom did it. So many women, even if your moms, didn't work outside the home, etc., it's not easier in regards to everyday, all of your tasks, right? So what is it about these women saying, I have to push a baby back to be able to do my career? I truly, as someone that has a child, I'm not pretending that it's easy, but you get it done. You figure it out. You have, especially if you make sure you have family, you have, community. Hey, I've got to travel here. Can you watch, can you do that? I took my daughter to LA with me. Was it the most recent time? The most recent time I went to LA to do a bunch of debates. I just told them, I said, hey, I've got my daughter that weekend. Can you fly her out too? And they said, sure. And she had a great time. She got to watch mommy doing this really cool thing. She got to visit one of her friends that moved out to LA. They had a sleepover. It was great. This idea that your career is going to be so fulfilling that you put off the major thing that women find gives us fulfillment is just so sad to me. It is so sad. And you see women like AOC who fed into that narrative and turn around in their 30s and realize, oh my gosh, I do want that smushy little amazing smelling baby. I want it so bad. And now I'm terrified that I might not be able to have it. Or I'm now too deep into this career to where now I can't take the time off at this moment.
That's right. That's right.
I gotta say this, and people will say, oh, you're tripping. Man, if women did what was the standard a while ago, even in today's age, if you had, you got married young, you had your babies young, if we looked at what that would save women down the line, what they tend to do in their 20s, and I'm saying this as someone that experienced it, you're outside, you're having fun, you're having long relationships that don't go to marriage, etc. Dude, none of that is worth it. None of it is fruitful. None of it has to be that different if you're married. You can still have fun with your friends. You just have to involve your husband or have friends that have husbands. Right? That's instead of your whole friends that want to be outside every time and go on the girls trip, have couples trips. Go have fun with couples. I'm not trying to get sidetracked, but it really, this is the thing. It's similar to the Brittany Brenner thing. And I don't know if you talked about her falling, as the guys say, doing the whole face plant eventually, where you just hitting the whole wall, yes, where you realize that it just wasn't worth it.
Right.
This is like, AOC wasn't outside, being a 304, but she was being the career woman who ends up turning around and realizing, oh my God, at the end of all of this, nothing will matter because I'll have no one to leave it to. Nothing will matter because my constituents, my followers, they're not going to come take care of me when I'm too old to take care of myself.
That's right. That's right.
Nothing is going to matter. Nothing is going to matter.
That's right.
Other than the people that you call family. And that's what God created as the main thing for both men and women from the beginning. It was be fruitful and multiply. It wasn't go build cities. It wasn't start companies. Be fruitful and multiply, the two of you together. Because that is truly, aside from a relationship with God, or the relationship that you have with your children, I can tell you it is the most fulfilling thing. And it just breaks my heart to see this feminist ideology that tells women that pales in comparison to a life of, career seeking.
That makes sense, Marian. Today the world says climb the corporate ladder, but the Bible presents the kingdom ladder.
Come on.
There's a difference between the world's ladder and the kingdom ladder. Being fruitful and multiplying, being married, building the family nucleus, binding the word of God around the necks of your children, writing it upon the doorpost, making sure that your children serve your God, the God of the Bible, all of that stuff. That is where true success and true prosperity lies. But the culture, man, the culture's loud, and people are choosing the culture. They're choosing the corporate ladder over the kingdom ladder. So therefore, they're losing it all. And so now you have AOC up there, and she's, I thought she was getting ready to do Ozempic or something like that at first. I mean, you know, and there's nothing wrong with people who want to do that, you know. But I mean, she's freezing her eggs. I mean, this is crazy. Does she?
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's so unnecessary.
Yeah,
like they keep telling these women, like, girl, you are like, there are so many women in their 30s having kids, being, you know, accidentally having kids. Did you even try? Like, why don't you just try? I don't know if she's married. I believe she's married to a white man, if I'm not mistaken, but I know she was dating one for quite some time. You know, this idea, like, I gotta go to science. I gotta just lunge into science to fix my potentials for having a child. And you're believing all of this. And especially today, I have to say, the amount of women that are coming out saying, like, no, I had my first child at 40. I had my first child at 45. And I don't want to push that narrative on women. Don't do that. Yeah. Even as a single mom, I'm so grateful that I had my daughter when I was 25 because I can keep up with her at this age, right? Like we're after I hang up with you, we're going to go to the park. Like, so, and I'm grateful that I can give that to my daughter, a mother that had the energy to take care of her, etc. But for the women that are older, and for even me, I'm, you know, God willing, I will get married someday and hopefully be able to give my husband a child. I am very excited about the idea that women are still having children in later age. So this whole science narrative that, like, here's the numbers, here's what, you know, the stats say, you got to be so afraid. Bro, just like, has anyone talked about just praying sometimes? Like, hey, Lord, open my womb.
That's it.
Please, God, open my womb, right? Like, how many times, Sarah, from the Bible, she didn't get some frozen eggs. No. The Lord said, here's your baby at 90 years old. Enjoy, right? So,
that's right. Hannah prayed, you know, and God opened her womb.
Yes.
And
he has full authority over life and death. Full authority. Yes. And he has been known to surprise women that think that they're going into menopause, go to the doctor and say, yo, I haven't had my menstrual in a couple months. And they're like, oh, that's because you're pregnant with twins.
There it is.
Enjoy that at 50.
Listen, God is still able. He's on the throne. Amen. But I do think that there's a curse over people like AOC.
It is.
And I do think that I'll leave that there. I don't want to go
darkness
too far down that path. I know we're getting ready to wrap up here, but there's a darkness over her. And that's not to say, let me clean this up too, spill on aisle 9, that all women who are maybe barren or whatever it might be, that they have a curse over them. I'm not saying that. Ladies, please don't unsubscribe, okay? Don't unsubscribe. I believe in...
We don't even know that she's barren. She's just planning to stay childless. She's intentionally planning to stay childless. There's a very, very, very big difference between someone that is, you know, struggling to have children, actively wanting children, and someone that is pushing children off to seek a career that may or may not end up working out. That they could, let's be fair, could still do with a child. Because my question to all these women is always like, is your plan to get to the height of your career and then leave so you can raise a child? I highly doubt it.
Right.
So what you're doing now is you're pushing off raising a child to a more difficult, more stressful portion of your career time. It doesn't make any logical sense. Have the babies young, when you're still an intern, when you're still, you know, a resident in med school, whatever it is. Get a husband that can support you. Work together, get 2 incomes going.
That's right.
Keep mom and dad, keep grandma and grandpa in the fold. Grandparents, show up for your kids because that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to help the next generation with the next generation, right? If we did it the way that it is structured, I always remind people the Proverbs 31 woman had a small business. She sold clothing that she made. You think it was easy raising kids and sewing clothing and then taking that clothing to the market and selling it to people? Like, she did it just as we have, 2 kids these days and call ourselves overwhelmed. And these biblical women were having 12, 15 kids.
And held everything down.
Come on, it's not impossible.
Held everything down. And that moo was enough. He was enough. Do you hear what I'm saying? That fried.
Never heard of a Savage Fenty. Never heard of a Victoria's Secret. He said this is that 3 for $10 from the dollar store.
That grandma used to wear. That thing worked. Do you hear me?
But let's talk about that. Let me talk about that really quickly, because not even joking, my dad is one of 7 children. My grandmother, my mom's mom, was one of 12 kids. How did they make it work? With mom still working, my grandmother was a maid in South Carolina. Wow. She was never a stay-at-home mom.
Wow.
You work as a family unit. And a lot of the women today that are tired in their families and saying motherhood is so hard is because they've been conditioned to believe that they should not expect much from their husbands. And that's something that I will say that I wish husbands understood. You cannot just go to work and come home and sit on your butt. There are things in the house you don't necessarily need to be cooking and cleaning, but if that trash is not taken out, if that lawn isn't mowed, if you haven't been fixing the problems that are happening in the house, if you don't take her car to go get the oil changed, etc., if you aren't disciplining the children, if you're every time that there's an issue between the kids, you're saying, go ask your mom, you are part of the problem. You are part of the problem created these feminists.
So true. So true. Marian, this has been phenomenal. Listen, I'm going to get with you offline to talk about some things, of course, getting you here in person, but also working on some additional topics that we can cover.
I love it.
So I'll be reaching out. Once again, Marian, you are a blessing to Disturbing the Peace. You know how to create a holy and righteous noise disturbance.
Oh, thank you.
God bless you.
Goodness, thank you.
Thank you so much. How can people follow you and support you?
Just hashtag Marian. I think it's on the screen there, but hashtag the word spelled out, Marian, Marien, on pretty much every platform. I so appreciate you, John. As I've said from the beginning, when I started seeing your videos well before you ever invited me to be on your show, when I saw a strong Black man standing up in front of school boards, reading to them the filth that is being presented to our children, I truly thank the Lord for you. And I pray that your presence in this world promotes far more of you as a man of God, as a husband, as a father, as someone that is fighting for righteousness and just fighting for truth. I really appreciate you. So thank you, as always, for having me on. Always love it.
Thank you, Marian. God bless you. Well, my friends, listen, today's show really unpacked and unearthed some severe problems that we have to address. Yeah. For all my sisters out there, all the ladies out there, listen, man, don't do the whole Angel Reese and DiJonai, however you say her name. I mean, just make it simple on us, please. DiJonai Carrington. Okay, there it is. Don't be out here lying and trying to redefine history, remake history, be a revisionist. Don't do that. Don't talk about white privilege like Joy Reid and then wear, blonde hair. Don't do that. Don't do that. Man. Don't be like AOC out here trying to freeze your eggs because you have another career path that's more important. Man, listen, follow the kingdom ladder, and not the world's ladder. All right. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a big favor. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Set your notifications so you know when I'm going live. Go to the audio platforms. Go to Spotify. Go to Apple Podcasts. And give me a 5-star review. And let me know below in the comment section. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I weak or am I strong? God bless you and God bless America. Take care.